Hello and welcome to Friday with Fiona. So today, this is by special request. I've been asked to work with Vellum to show you some ideas for making cards. So I kind of got a bit of an assortment, and I kind of had forgotten how much you can do with Vellum. So I've got some cards prepped to do, but then there's also some other bits and pieces that I want to share with you. So I'm going to do those first. Just want to remind you that I will be making 3 cards, and so when you spend £25 in my store, I will then send you a kit to make 2 each of the cards without any stamped images. I can't send you those because of Stampin' Up rules, unfortunately, but you'll have everything else, the die cuts, etc. Also, just to remind you that last chance list was updated on Tuesday, and a lot of the Christmas stamps and dies have gone on there. Some of them are reduced, some of them are not, but there are some really good deals to be had on there. So have a look. And as I said, if you spend £25 on anything, glue, card, whatever, Vellum, then you'll get the kit from me if you do that by next Wednesday. Okay, I'm going to turn you down and get onto my desk. So I've got some Vellum here. Stampin' Up used to do it in A4 size for us, and then they discontinued it. Was it last year or earlier this year? I can't honestly remember. So I haven't really used it for a while, but they've just in the I'm not sure if it was in the online exclusives or in the mini. I think it's the online exclusives. They've brought out a pack of 12 by 12. So I've got a couple of sheets. Well, I did have a couple of sheets of 6 by 6, but I've used one because I wanted to show you that you can die cut. And the first one I did was the textured rectangles, and I honestly thought when I pulled it out you can't see the detail around the edge, but actually you can. It's amazing, and it's really quite sturdy, the Stampin' Up Vellum, which is how I'm going to use it as a card base later. So I did that one, but I'm not going to use that. So then I did a perennial postage stamp, and again you can see really crisp die cutting, so you can die cut with it. Then one of the cards I'm going to make, I've embossed using the I think it's the Peaceful Garden bundle. I can't remember what the embossing folders used, and trust me, I'm so glad you can't see my desk because it's a tip. And again, look at the detail, and you've got some white. So if you use the 2-tone cardstock to emboss, oh no, sorry, we're talking about Vellum, but the embossing, can you see the white? The 2-tone cardstock has white in the middle. This is just beautiful. And I die cut a label because if you put it on a colour, you probably would see your sentiment, but I'm going to put my label underneath it, and then my sentiment will really pop. So that we're going to get to that in a minute. Coastal Cabana, one of my favourite colours. But what I wanted to show you, that's for that and that. So there's my cards in a minute. So I'm just going to use some of my leftover Vellum, and I wanted to show you that you can stamp. First you can heat emboss, so I'm going to do that. Then you can colour, and you can also stamp onto it. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to use this tree from the Ornamental Christmas because you can colour it in. So I just want to show you that. So I'm going to combine it. I'm going to do it in. I'm going to heat emboss it in white, and then I'm going to colour it. So I'm going to use my Versamark. Now, I did forget to use my embossing buddy, but hopefully it'll be okay. So I'll get my white. Could actually do gold. I'm just wondering, should I do gold? No, it's okay. I'll do it in white because I want you to see the colour. But I'm using a gold piece of DSP. Just missed a bit there. Okay, so that's a nice crisp image. Let me move that out of the way before I get the heat gun. And I'm going to come from underneath just for a bit of protection. There it goes, it's starting to go now. I should be using my reverse tweezers, but I'm not. So I've done the top, just doing the bottom. And it's bending a bit with the heat, but I'm just going to check. Yeah, it's not tacky at all. That's great. Now, I always colour on the back on vellum. I think that's how I'm just looking for my green. Shaded spruce. Should we do it in shaded spruce? Or let's do it in shy shamrock. So I think that's probably the way I was taught. So I'm just going to turn it over, and you can see my image is a little bit more muted. But what it means is that I don't have to worry about going over the lines. In fact, I'm going to use the brush end just for speed. Now, these normally dry immediately, but I don't know if you can see, it's really shiny, so it's going to take a bit. So what I'll do is I'll just go over it with my heat gun. Right, and then if I turn it over, how gorgeous is that? So on the back, you can see I've gone over the white lines, but on the front, you can't see that at all. So I'm just going to paint my little, what should we use? Go on the back again, and I'm just going to do my little box on a tree stand. There we go. And there you go. How beautiful is that? So I'm just going to quickly die cut that, just so you can see that there's no issues whatsoever with die cutting. Let's get the mini. Let's just get rid of that excess paper. Pop that there. Pop that there. See, now I'm wishing I had vellum on all my cards, because it really is lovely. Hopefully that hasn't moved too much. Let's just get that out of the way. Oh, honest to God, this room is a nightmare. It really is an absolute nightmare. Okay, so there you go. There's our lovely little tree. And I might pop that on my Coastal Cabana one. It won't go with my gold, I don't think. Right, let's make a bit of space here. So I'm going to pop my tree away. So you could do you can basically you can do anything. You can die cut anything. Okay, let's get some space. So I've shown you that you can die cut, I've shown you that you can colour, and I've shown that you can emboss. So let's get to making some cards now. So the first one, I've got a black card base, and I'm using the Modern Christmas. Now, the other thing about vellum is it will really subdue. So if you've got a designer series paper, there's always one sheet I find that is too busy or too bright, or it just doesn't do anything for me. And vellum is a perfect answer, because if you put it over it, it will tone it down. So do you see how the gold has suddenly gone from being really shiny to being understated, but you can still tell it's gold? So just gonna put my DSP on. That's the other thing I want to show, is about how you use glue on vellum. Okay, so I'm just going to pop my designer series paper. So, oh, and I've just finished. Why does it always happen when I'm on video? The other thing I was going to say, and it's just gone out of my head now because my seals run out. What was I going to say? I can't remember. It'll come back to me. Make sure I get that the right way up. Right, so this card base is regular half of an A4. So 21 by 14.8 scored in half at 10.5. And then I've actually cut my designer series paper down to 9.5 by 13.8 because I wanted you to see the black. I wanted the black to make the gold pop. Now, there are various ways of using glue on vellum. So if you're going to be putting something on the top, which I am, but I can't now see it, I need to cut. What I'll do is I'll cut, no, I've already got one actually. I'm going to use this gold star, which I have in my stash. Just so that you can see. So I'm gonna place my vellum where I think I want it. My gold star is going to go there. Okay. Now there's not going to be a lot of room, but basically this bit behind the star is going to be invisible. So you can use Seal, Seal Plus, tear and tape, glue dots, whatever you want. The other thing that you can do is use wet glue. I'm going to make a mess and show you. Need a brush. Yes, I have got a brush here. So I'm squidging all that glue out. I'm going to turn my vellum. You can tell because of the embossing which is the right way and which is the wrong way. And I'm just going to spread my glue. And I'm going to go all over. Right, now when that's dry, so let's pop it on our card. And obviously at the moment it looks horrendous. Whoops, I need to get it in the right place. It looks horrendous, doesn't it? Because you can see the brush strokes. But as that dries, you won't be able to see that. I promise. I'll come back and show you later. So I'm going to pop that on with one, I can't even think, dimensional. Couldn't even think what they were called for a minute. Brain dead. And pop that in the middle. Ideally, I would have cut the baubles out. And then I haven't done a sentiment. But you can just stamp straight onto, as I've shown you. No, I haven't shown you that. I've shown you that I embossed, or I stamped and embossed. So there you go. And I will come back to that. So at the moment, you can see that glue through there. But as it dries, when it's dry, you won't be able to. So I'm going to pop that to one side and I'll come back to that later. Now I'm going to go to my Coastal Cabana. And here is my beautiful embossed piece. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just going to pop that behind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that on there. Now I'm just trying to think what's the best way to glue this. I am going to put a sentiment, I'm going to put the sentiment in the middle, but you're going to see that. And then I'm going to put my tree somewhere. So I think the best thing to do is the wet glue again, and then, but I'm going to be a bit more economical with it. And I got these paintbrushes cheap in the range, I think, and I just use them for cleaning out my trimmer. I'm just going to do this in the corners. And then I'm going to pop this, do it in the middle where the tree is going to go. And then that can stick down. Inside the embossed lines. And I'm going to put that on my card before it dries. Now, if you choose to use glue dots, then you can just cover the glue dots up with embellishments. I don't think you can actually see this glue because of the embossing. Can you see the glue? I don't honestly think you can. Right, so I need to do a sentiment now. I've got my... Okay, what's going to go in there? If I turned it that way, actually, and have the tree on the side, is my Merry Christmas going to fit? Yes. Okay, let's do that. I'll clean that later. So I did that. It's Coastal Cabana. Come on. Thank you. Beautiful. Now it is wet. On cardstock that would dry straight away. So you either need to just go over it with your heat gun or make sure you put it to one side and let it dry. That is gorgeous. Now my tree is kind of the wrong colour, so I'm going to colour it in a different colour. I need it to go more blue, I think. Let's try. We'll see what happens if I go over it with this. That's better. See, it's when I turned it over, it's left a mark on the page because it is wet. So that's just one thing to be careful of. Let's just give it a whack with the heat gun. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a couple of glue dots and then I'm going to use the traditional sequins on my tree to hide the glue dots. So I'm going to try and do like lights on a tree. So go one there, one there, one there, and one there. Okay, and then I'm gonna, here we go, and then I'm gonna pop my sequins, my adhesive sequins. Are gorgeous, these. So shall we stick with the blue theme, or shall we go gold, or shall we go red? Let's have, I haven't got many small reds, so let's go with gold. Do you know, I'm not even sure I can see those glue dots. I think there's one there. Yeah, but you know, I honestly can't see them. One there, I think. One there. I can't see them. I'm just kind of being a bit random now. One there. There. And one there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't have an odd number, it's got to be even, uneven. So let's have another one. There. Oh, it's gorgeous. Why hadn't I used vellum more? Because I'd forgotten about it, because we haven't been selling it. So, but I really love that. I love the embossing. And then, I mean, you could have left it just blue behind, but then you would have needed to stamp in like black or something for it to show. Pretty, really, really pretty. Okay, so that's card 2. Where's my card with the glue? No, it's not quite dry. I can still see it a little bit, but not too much. It also, I think the shimmery effect might be affecting it. Okay, this is the creme de la creme, or the pièce de résistance. So I'm actually going to make a card base using vellum. This is how good the quality of the Stampin' Up! Vellum is. So I've made it into a regular card base. It's 21 centimetres by 14.8, scored at 10.5. Be gentle when you're scoring, because it can tear. I think I just went gently a couple of times, and then I used my bung folder on the fold. Okay, you will need to use cardstock on the inside and the outside just to give it a bit of support. And I'm using the Modern Christmas. So I've already got everything ready. I've got my label. That's from the Festive Friends. So I've got my outside and I've got my inside. And basically I've cut this to 8 by 12.3. And then the basic white is 7.5 by 11.8. Okay, so this is going to be our inside for your message. Pop that on the black. Okay, I need to stamp in black on that, and then I'm going to pop that on Dell. The way to hide the vellum would be to hide the glue would be to put something on the back, but it is going to be the back of the card, so I'm not too worried. And I'm just going to do it at the 4 corners because this is Seal Plus, so it's really strong. And that's going to go on my inside. Okay, so there you can see the glue, but that's the back and I'm not worried. Okay, then I've got my front, so I've got the Modern Christmas paper with the trees, and again the black, the same size, exactly the same size as before, and that's going to go over the top there. Now what I'm thinking is, should I put some ribbon on? Do I have any gold ribbon left? I do, so let's pop some ribbon on before I glue this down. So I'm going to come round here. And I think I'll be tying a knot, not a bow. I don't know, let's see how much I've got. I might have enough for a bow actually. Let's make that a bit longer. Okay, this is where the reverse tweezers come into their own, and they're part of the embossing additions kit. I think it's called the additions kit. Right, let's see if I can get a bow out of this. Bows have been pretty tricky with my carpal tunnel, but I think it's getting a bit better. Let's see how I get on. Yay! How fabulous is that? Yeah, I think I'm going to let my bow be the centerpiece actually. going to move that down. And then I'm going to put a bit more Seal Plus on this because of the bow. I don't want it coming away, and I'm just going to put a bit either side of there. And then put that on there. Like so. Okay. And then I'm going to pop it on my card. Now, this is where it is going to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of designer series paper and put it on the inside as well. So I'm going to do my Seal Plus. It's not going to have the black. I'm going to do my Seal Plus on the further in, so that when I put my designer series paper, it doesn't show. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Let's put that on there. So I'm covering, it's identical to the inside piece. I've got my bow, looking gorgeous. And then I just need to do my sentiment. But I'm going to, so you can see that. So let's get a piece of the designer series paper. And let's just go with, how about a bit of la la la. And so I need it to be the size of the black card, which I think I said was 12.3 by 8. So 8 wide and 12.3 is 4 7/8. No, 4 3/4. What did I say? 12.3. That's where my cut is. Oh. I didn't go far enough up. There we go. That just needs a little bit of a trim on my guillotine. I think I dragged the blade a bit. That's it. And that should fit perfectly. I don't know. What do I like better? I think we'll have the fa la 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 la, whatever. Okay, so a little bit of seal just at the corners, and this isn't going to show at all. So I'm going to line that up. And there you go, one gorgeous card. Right, I haven't done my sentiment. I think it's Festive Friends is the label, where the label's from, so I know that the We Wish You a Merry Christmas will fit. I've got a lot of cleaning to do. Okay, and I'm going to do that in Secrecy, which is my go-to instead of black. Gorgeous colour, love, love, love it. I always manage to get it on me though. I don't know how I managed to do that. I need to set my new chamois up. Look, all over my thumb. How did I manage to? I just stuck it, basically, I stuck it in the ink pad. Why did I do that? I have no idea. Okay, we wish you a Merry Christmas. Tap, tap, tap. Now, I'm going to do it on my grid paper first because I'm not sure if I've got to go up. Let's do it straight. Oh, no, it's okay. Right. Perfect. Right. Something else to be cleaned. Let's just pop that onto the black. How did I get it on that nail? It is a mystery. It's only Secret Sea. I don't know how I do it. I think it just must be very juicy, and I don't know. Trying to get it straight. Right. And I'm going to put it on flat just to save the postage. Across from these trees here. We wish you a Merry Christmas. It's lovely, really, really elegant. And because you've got the card on the inside and the outside, it's sturdy enough to stand on someone's mantelpiece. So I hope you like that. I think my plan to show you this glue unfortunately has backfired slightly because it's shiny. If it had been matte, I can see it. I'm not sure you can, but I wouldn't want to send that to someone. So, but if you do it that way I showed you, do it on a matte card, not on foil, and it definitely will work. But I will send you everything except for the stamped images to make these 3 cards: the vellum, the die cuts, the labels, everything. So I hope you like them. And as you saw when I heaped, I used my heat gun, I stamped, I coloured, I die cut, I embossed. There is so much you can do with vellum. But if you would like any more ideas or need any help, give me a shout. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely weekend. Next week, what am I doing next week? Oh, it's gone right on my head. I told you my head is a sieve. What am I doing next week? Vellum this week. Oh, I'm so sorry. Anyway, it's posted. I have posted what I'm doing in December. So thanks very much for watching. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll be back next week. Bye.